If you're just getting started out with pull-ups, this video is for you. As someone who's been doing regular pull-ups and weighted pull-ups for around 2 years, I believe that the 3 things I mentioned in this video will be of great benefit for any beginner.
Okay, so the first thing I want to address is bodyweight rows and ring rows. I think that any beginner should use this approach rather than negatives because rows actually help you develop and build your pulling muscles. While negatives are great, I find that from my experience and the people I've coached, most of them have trouble using negatives as a starting point because it requires a certain level of strength which a beginner may not have. To do the row correctly, you want to keep your body straight, pull and squeeze at the top, and then control the negative. If it gets too easy at a certain height, you'll want to lower the height of the rings and keep doing so until you get to the point where your back is almost touching the ground. If you don't have rings, you can do rows using a squat rack and a barbell at your local gym where you can lower the height to increase the difficulty of the row itself. The second point I want to address is scapular depression and retraction. For the longest time, I did not know how to do this correctly, and it is a crucial part of the pull-up because the scapula is what initiates the movement and is also what puts you in the best position to pull yourself up. Here's what it looks like in practice. In order to do this correctly, you must first depress your scapula. Think about it like pulling your shoulders away from your ears. As you do this, your head will rise above your shoulders. Once you reach this point, the second portion of the pull-up is where you actually retract your scapula. What I would suggest doing in order to strengthen the scapula is to do scapular shrugs where you focus on just depressing your scapula. If you find this difficult, I suggest using a resistance band like I am here in order to get a feel for the movement. The key here is just to increase mobility in the shoulder blades and strengthen the scapula itself. Okay, so the last point I want to address is resistance bands. Resistance bands are great in terms of progressing when it comes to most movements and exercises in calisthenics. For the pull-up, however, I don't recommend using them until you can do at least one pull-up after training with bodyweight rows or ring rows. If you're able to do at least one pull-up, you should use a 10 to 35 or a 35 to 60 pound resistance band like I am here to get better at the movement and develop the correct form.
If you've made it this far into the video, I hope that all of you benefit from the tips I've mentioned. There will also be a free workout guide linked in the description below, along with the gymnastics rings and the resistance bands that I used. Comment down below what you want me to cover next, and I'll see you next time.